Welcome back to The Television Show, a show about television, shot in front of a television, and broadcast on the internet. If I've learned one thing from television over the past couple years, it's that I shouldn't disagree with my psychiatrist.
I'm Dr. Hannibal Lecter.
And if I've learned a second thing, it's that writers have forgotten how to craft a TV series finale. Now I'm sure by now you're wondering what qualifies me to talk about series finales. Well, I didn't want to bring it up, but my coworkers once gave me the title of TheBomb.com. Were you ever titled TheBomb.com? I didn't think so. I came to this realization after we, the television audience, said goodbye to a long-running sitcom that captured the hearts of millions over the past decade.
I can't wait for this to be over.
Parks and Recreation also ended last month. These finales were as different as they could be. The 2.5 Men finale couldn't look away from its past, while the Parks finale could only focus on the future of its characters. After Charlie Sheen left 2.5 Men in 2011, Ashton Kutcher was brought in to save the sinking ship, after it had already sunken, with massive casualties. The months leading up to the finale were rife with speculation on whether Sheen would return to the program or not. With both show creator Chuck Lorre and Sheen remaining mum on the topic, 13 million viewers tuned in last month to see if Charlie would get his revenge. And this happened. I give the 2.5 Men finale 3 out of 5 shots. Ugh. The more shots, the more I want to forget what I watched. For comparison, the Parks finale only drew an audience of 4.2 million viewers. Parks and Recreation was a show that had plenty of experience writing series finales year after year. Despite running 7 seasons, the show was never a guarantee for renewal. The main reason why Parks survived so long was because everything else on NBC kept on failing. Hey, remember The Event? Neither do I. As a result, several episodes throughout the run of Parks and Recreation were designed to serve as possible series finales should the show get cancelled on the spot. So when the time came for Parks to bow out on its own terms, the writing staff had plenty of experience already on how to say goodbye to its characters. I don't want to talk that much about the Parks finale since it's so recent, but I thought it was a fantastic send-off to one of the greatest comedy ensembles in recent years. Personally, I have never been more emotionally invested in a character than with Leslie Knope. I was a Parks watcher from day one, so seeing her character progress year after year made her conclusion incredibly rewarding. By now, you probably have a good idea of what my television viewing habits are. Futurama is another program that was forced to write series finales time and time again. The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings, written in 2003, Into the Wild Green Yonder in 2009, Overclockwise from 2011, and Meanwhile from 2013 were all written without knowing if there would be any more episodes of Futurama to follow. All those episodes were written by Ken Keeler, a longtime writer for Futurama and The Simpsons. Each of these would-be finales slightly progressed the main emotional arc of the show, the relationship between Fry and Leela. Now I'm sure that some of you are getting concerned over the fact that I'm mixing pills with alcohol, and to you I say, I'm sorry, I just blacked out for a moment. What's going on? So how come some shows like Parks and Futurama can manage to not only create one great series finale, but several, while other shows like 2.5 Men stumble at the line? Well, let's take a look at other shows that didn't quite stick the landing. September 22nd, 2013 was a dark day for American television. Dexter's sign-off was slammed by critics and the show's own fan base. A couple weeks after the airing, reports surfaced that Showtime executives mandated that Dexter Morgan survive the finale in case they wanted to bring the character back later. The result of this decision is what is now known as Lumberjack Dexter. Instead of peeling back the layers of Dexter's psyche, the show remained ambivalent regarding his need to kill, so there was very little emotion felt when he said goodbye to his sister, whose death was hilariously tacked on as a plot point. I would like to take this moment to remind everyone that Dexter stars Michael C. Hall and Jennifer Carpenter were married at one point, which makes this very funny. In May of 2010, Lost aired a 2.5-hour finale that greatly divided its fanbase. According to Metacritic, the Lost finale had as many reviews scored as 10 out of 10 as it had reviews scored below a 5 out of 10. The most polarizing aspect of the finale was how the show answered the mysteries of the island, or rather, the fact that it didn't. Chris Carabot from IGN kicked off his 10 out of 10 review of the finale by stating, "The ending of Lost will be discussed, studied, and analyzed to death over the next few months or even years." On March 31st, 2014, CBS broadcast the finale to How I Met Your Mother one day earlier than its planned April 1st air date. As a result, many fans took the ending seriously. Yeah, that's not the real ending. How I Met Your Mother locked itself into this finale back in 2006 when the show's last 10 minutes were decided, a rough draft of the episode scripted, and the scenes with Ted's children filmed before the actors could grow up. In the years following, the story changed trajectory, so when everything tied together in the finale, the discrepancy between the show's ultimate end and the years leading up to it were thematically jarring. Yeah, that entire Robin-Barney romance, LOL JK. I'm sure by now you've noticed that I'm wearing the same shirt in all of my videos, so you're probably wondering, do I do my laundry? Now, the details are classified, but no. Now that we've looked at some bad series finales, let's take a look at what goes into a quality one. Of course it needs to be well acted, well written, and provide closure to the series, but I also believe it needs to respect the characters themselves and the audience that has followed along the way. When I say a show needs to respect its characters, I mean the characters need to remain true to themselves and not change just because it's the final episode. And by respect its audience, I mean a show should remain loyal to the audience that has remained loyal to the show till the very end. Viewers who dedicate 3, 4, 5, or even more years of their lives to a show should be rewarded for their patience. I'd like to talk about my favorite series finale of all time. It's not Breaking Bad, alright? It's not. Firstly, yes, this is the series finale for Scrubs. There were no episodes of Scrubs produced after this. Yeah, that didn't happen. Just one more. When the 8th season finale of Scrubs was produced, titled My Finale, there were no plans or expectations for any more episodes of Scrubs, and as such, I will treat this as a series finale, as it was intended. Thankfully, Bill Lawrence, the creator of Scrubs, put the subtitle of Med School in the opening credits of the 9th season, allowing us to pretend that it was a spin-off of the original show. So why is the Scrubs finale my favorite finale? Well, let's dig in. For starters, the first half of the finale doesn't act any different from a standard episode of Scrubs. The writers, viewers, and characters know the end is near, but the standard hijinks ensue. The episode maintains Scrubs' tradition of integrating a medical plot that acts as a metaphor for JD's journey within the episode. This time, that journey is not knowing what the future holds, represented by the son of a Huntington's patient choosing not to find out if he has inherited the degenerative brain disorder. JD spends the episode attempting to elicit goodbyes from his friends and coworkers, which highlights the man-child aspect of his personality and his fear of the road that lies ahead. Both of these are established aspects of JD's personality. In fact, all the characters retain their chief traits through the finale. Elliot and Turk are supportive, Cox is ambivalent, Carl is the mentor, and the janitor is the wild card. Sure, we see Dr. Cox open up at the very end, but it's not the first time we've seen him emotional or vulnerable. In Season 5, 3 of Dr. Cox's patients died as a result of rabies from organ transplants, and Cox held himself responsible, sending him into depression. Additionally, he has been there for JD on several occasions throughout the show, most notably after JD's father passed away. So when Dr. Cox opens up in the finale, it's perfectly within character. In that aspect, the Scrubs finale respected its characters. The finale also respected its audience by bringing back plot points and characters from throughout its long 8-year run. Such plot points include JD's first encounter with a janitor back in the pilot, Carla's nickname for JD being Bambi, and who can forget the reprisal of the Hugh Jackman rants. By all accounts, the Scrubs finale was as much a celebration of its past as it was of the characters' futures. The final minute of the episode featured seemingly every guest star from the show's past, giving the show one last chance to establish the sanity of Sacred Heart's favorite orthopedic surgeon.
Hooch is crazy.
Hey Hooch, if you're interested, I know a very good psychiatrist. This was followed by one of the most emotional sequences I've ever seen on television, and the perfect way to wrap up JD's long-running fantasies. JD watches the rest of his life flash before his eyes, or at least a possible future. As JD says, there's no way to know what the future holds, but Scrubs ended giving the audience peace of mind that there is a bright future ahead for JD and company.
And who's to say this isn't what happens? Who can tell me that my fantasies won't come true? Just this once.
Entertainment is largely subjective, so what I consider necessities for a series finale may not hold true for you. Which is why I'm on YouTube and you aren't. Next time on the television show, a ratings recap for the week of March 1st.